It's Oklahoma Archery. Everything archery based out of Oklahoma for Oklahoma. Let's get it started. Welcome, everybody, to another Oklahoma Archery podcast. I'm David Bosca.
I'm Nickel Neal.
What do you say, Nickel Neal?
Oh, we are in the middle of building arrows, changing arrows up a little bit, shooting 23s right now for 3D, and I'm loving them indoor, and the bow likes them. Got a little bit of extra length on the front and not a lot of weight and little tiny veins on the back. So there was a plan. The plan's gone. The plan is out the window. So the bow likes them. They're pretty close to where they need to be spine-wise, but we're going to chop about 2 inches off the end. We're going to throw an extra 20 in the nose and put about an extra vein with a little higher profile on them. I'm going from a 3-fletched FFP 225 to a 4-fletched SK2. Still flex fletch, still black bushing, black knock, black vein. Good luck seeing them down there in the 5 ring. And I've got a couple of them that I've had somebody hit, and I can chop it off the knock end of them. But the bow likes them so much that I was talking to one of my buddies down there in Texas from Summit Bowstrings, my good buddy Bryce Talley, and he said, you need to set that 35. It's just sitting there. So instead of tearing the bow apart and moving the rest and making all new arrows, I just went ahead and ordered some more arrows, and I'm going to set the 35 up and try shooting it for 3D, because it's a 35-inch. It's a hunting bow. It's a target bow. It's kind of right in between. And all the Darton guys right now are shooting really good scores with that 35. And when I originally set it up for indoor, it had 60 to 70 pound limbs on it. So I'm going to swap over to 50, 60 pound limbs, get it down under speed without having to run a full, because I'd have to run like 200, 225 grains to get a 27 under speed, which is not normally a problem that you have until you realize that I'm shooting 350 spine arrows at 70 pounds with that much in the front. They're just going to be too weak.
Yeah.
So ordered some stiffer 27s, ran about $130 in them, and we're going to try some 3-fletched flex fletch silent nights on there, and it should be right about 284, 285.
Did you say 27s?
27s.
All right.
For 3D. Yeah.
3D action with the fat boys.
Well, if I'm going to miss and I'm going to make them crawl down in the dirt to call that 12 and 8, I at least ought to throw the biggest shaft down there I can to make sure while they're crawling around in the dirt, getting bit by ticks and copperheads and everything else, ought to make it to where they can at least say, hey, we tried. Tried to throw the biggest arrow down there. So, well, we got a guest this week, Dave.
Who do we got?
Well, we got one of my good buddies here, Mr. Bobby Johnson from Skytook, Oklahoma. How you doing, Bobby? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me okay?
Say something again.
Try keep talking for a sec. It's kind of pixelated.
Any better?
Yeah, that was seemed to be getting better, bud.
There you go.
All right.
Well, for anybody that hasn't met Bobby, his Facebook name is RT Johnson. So now you can put a face to the name. Bobby's been one of my absolute best friends for probably 3 or 4 years now. We talk archery problems. We talk non-archery problems. And he's just about the most busy person in archery that I've seen. He's usually running around somewhere. If you haven't met him at TAA, you've probably seen him at the SHOT 3D experience. And we wanted to come on, get him on the podcast and tell everybody a little bit about this weekend's ASA Qualifier coming up. It's going to be at my home club, Tulsa Archery Association. It's 100% the best range you will ever shoot, even for indoor, Dave.
I've shot their outdoor range and their field range, but that was many years ago. But I have shot it.
I love to hate it.
It is particularly cumbersome to get up the hill. So we wanted to bring Bobby on and let everybody know that they have completely changed the way you get up the hill. So basically, the way I understand it, and I haven't got to see it yet, so it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like going on a date with your wife after she dyes her hair and cuts it in a different style. It's the same range you love to hate, but it's a totally different look. they have made it to where you still get the up and downhill shooting experience without the up and downhill walking experience. So everybody from Tulsa remembers the big steep uphill where you kind of go and then you slide down and trip and then you go up some more. Bobby, tell everybody a little bit about the layout that you guys have been cutting the last few months.
Well, we kind of cut it in, and shout out to Dale Cooley. He's the one that kind of put it in there. Neil's pops that we've been talking about it for years, and we finally just decided to do it. But so as you get to the bottom of that first hill, you make a right. So we zigzagged it up the hill. So it's still uphill, but it's more of a gradual turn. And then we set a couple of shots at the apexes of the turns. That way you get a break as you're walking up. We try to split up the range so that we can get some of the folks that have a more challenging time up at the top of the range, and then enough targets up there so that they can only have to walk down once down that hill, and try to put the younger folks and whatnot down at the bottom, down at the bottom, so they can walk up twice if they need to, more able-bodied.
Yep. The hardest thing about my first years being the ASA director was figuring out who is going to walk that hill twice and hate me for the rest of their life. Usually on the ASA, you want to take your close stakes and put your master senior class, your super seniors, anybody that's 55, 60 years and up. We try to start them on one and have them end on, only have to walk the course once. And all us young able-bodied guys get to go walk all the way up the hill, all the way down it, back up the hill, and then off the hill. So you get to experience it twice. And we've had some people that Tulsa is a range that you love to hate. It beats you every time. That hill will make a man out of you. It'll put hair on your chest and tears in your eyes. But they went to a lot of effort to incorporate the landscape without having to, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm going to need a stool to sit down and take a break, but there's nowhere flat to put the stool on for all you stool carrying 3D shooters. So we just wanted to come on and get Bobby in here and thank him for all that he does out at not only at SHOT, but at Tulsa Archery as well. I know that they've been, I don't know, it's probably been the past month and a half that I've been hearing about, we cut some lanes up here, we cut some lanes down there. So wanted to take time and invite everybody out this weekend to see the new look. What are you looking most forward to this weekend, Bobby?
So just getting everybody out there. It's always an exciting time. I really love getting the shooters out there on that range, especially the new shooters that never shot it before, and don't want to ruin it for them. But we really play the footing. There's some uphill shots, some downhill shots, some flat shots into the timber. So you get a really wide range of targets to shoot at up there. People don't realize what kind of a facility that is. For your yearly dues, from January to January dues, and what you get at that facility, it's unbelievable. So people will show up, and then they'll want to become members. So I really enjoy exposing that range to people, because they don't even know, and then all of a sudden they look over and they see, what, there's a field range over here, what is that? And then, we get them, introduce them into some field archery stuff. So, and then there's a little traditional section over one corner. So the kids will come there that aren't really shooting, and they can shoot over there to their heart's content. There's a bunch of old targets over there, and they can just, you can kind of keep an eye on, they can see them, and they can just shoot and have a good old time over there all by themselves. So.
It's been a good range. I know Dave shot a lot of scores there. That's where I grew up, shooting just as a little 5-6-year-old guy. That was back when I could shoot. Now that I'm washed up and old, it's a daunting task. But y'all, for $100 a year, Tulsa Archery is the best bang for your buck range you will ever find in the state. It's got 24-hour access on an indoor range, static targets that are up for 3Ds. They do a weekly Tuesday night, Wednesday night.
Tuesday nights.
Weekly Tuesday night. Sometimes it's a jackpot. Sometimes it's a team shoot. It's a good group of, you might have a dozen, you might have 20 people show up out there. Great 3D range and an even better field range. It is by far the nicest field 14 target range. I know we're trying to get it back to 28 so we can have some bigger shoots. Talking to the OSAA guys, trying to make field great again. So I know David Griffin's chomping at the bits out there to shoot some
Yeah.
some skinny arrow stuff. So Tulsa's going to have some big stuff planned this year, and we hope you guys are all going to come out to it. I think they have also the OSAA marked 3D championship at some point. I'm not sure when that's happening.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what we're gonna do with that, because it's the targets are gonna be out. I think it's over the top of the ASA or close to the weekend or something. So I've got to figure that out with them, exactly what's gonna happen. But yeah.
Well, being the guy that does most of the work, yeah, you probably ought to have at least a clue.
Yeah, it's having the new members showing up out there, because we've really been trying to grow it. It's kind of gotten stagnant for a little while. I think COVID did something to that, but now that we're kind of progressing, we're starting to get more and more newer members show up out there, and kind of trying to put the word out, and a lot of the newer members will come out there, and they actually see they can actually shoot out to 80, 90 yards. So we got the TAC and the shot shooters want to come out there and get them sighted in. So we're getting more and more help. It's just a club, so there's not a lot of funding. We run on a shoestring budget, as I hear a lot from the older guys. So it's nice to have the new people in there.
It's always hard being that new person in an organization, or you're semi new to archery and new to the range. It's like Bobby's the guy that's going to go out of his way to talk to you guys. So that was a big reason we wanted to have you on this podcast, is that you are far and away one of the best archery ambassadors. Like, you've just never met a stranger out there. Sometimes you can't get him off of you. You got to get the squirt bottle out. But yeah, 100%. It's like, it takes a lot to get people out of their shell when they're around a new group of people, and they're like, yeah, I've never shot a tournament before. I only shot in my backyard. And it really is a nerve-wracking experience. Like, sometimes they'll dry fire their bows because they had to talk to 3 new people. And it's like, to put an arrow in your bow before you draw it back, but you had to learn Bill's name and Ken's name and Dale's name and Bobby's name, and all of a sudden you're rattled and you're shooting with 4 new people on the backside of a mountain that you just had to huff your way up. So, Dave, what's been your favorite Tulsa Archery Association memory?
I remember TAA is where I had to learn to shoot uphill and downhill with my footing. I mean, there's not a lot of ranges. You'd go to a range and they'd have 2 shots, 1 up, 1 down, or 2 up that time. But it is one of the best ranges I remember, learning how to properly put your feet, open them or closing them or whatever, to keep my draw length the same according to where I was going uphill or downhill. I just remember that was the biggest thing I remember. I don't remember one particular shoot. I just always remember walking away going, that course wasn't that hard. How the heck did I only shoot this score? Yeah. It is such a great challenge to you as a shooter to go in and make a good score. Yeah.
There's a couple of shots where your feet are facing downhill. You're leaning to the side because it's a down this, and then you're shooting uphill or you're shooting downhill. So it really challenges you on, your posture.
Yeah. And I just remember the majority of the shots was at some angle of some degree, some of it not very steep, but there was always something you had to consider. Man, am I going to take a yard off? Am I going to add a yard on? Just always it made you think as a shooter. So that I really remember. Yeah.
Usually you're cutting yardage, whether you're uphill or downhill, is what I've heard. Tulsa would probably be the only range in the state that you would ever need a cut chart for. So all you Reading fans, all you
Orange Dot.
Yep, all you Orange Dot people would be familiar with it. Go back and look at our older episode with I believe it was Jeremy Balderrama that talks about prepping for Reading and making different cut charts and stuff like that. Definitely think about your feet, watch your bubble, check your third axis. And then something Dave and I had worked on in the warehouse had me standing up on the forklift. Means you draw your bow straight into the hill, and then you force yourself to bend. Or you force yourself to bend rather than put the bow down and draw it to it, and you're just dropping your arm, making a weak shot. So something to think about if y'all went to Connors State this past weekend. That'd be a good warm up for some of the ups and downs. Tulsa's got a little bit more steep angles. So want to give everybody a chance now. I think it's Tuesday. We'll put this out as quick as we can. Go call Dave, get him to put you up on the forklift and raise it up and be shooting in the warehouse at about a 60-degree downward angle or a 60-degree up angle. We had more fun with that after Rick Gilly and I got back from the Wabash. It was like the bow's getting put up until September when the 900 round is. I don't know why I had to figure it out then, but just knowing that something on it wasn't right or I wasn't doing something right, and we had to diagnose and we had to make some hills there on the flat concrete. That was a we figured it out.
Neil still makes fun of me because I'm the feet together kind of guy to shoot.
Oh my!
It drives him insane because my feet are close together, and it's just because I can turn my foot out and then I can bend down without having to, really accentuate my hips.
That's fake news. You stand with your feet together because Randy Hinton's running around the mountain and he's going to goose you at full draw. And if you all know Randy or you haven't met him yet, you better be ready for it because he is the kind of guy that'll he'll just pull up on a side-by-side while you're at full draw and kind of watch you shoot and be like, I was just going to see if you was going to get nervous or not. All right, I'm leaving. And he'll cruise right on off of there. Randy is 100% the life of the party.
All right, Bobby, what is that you're drinking? It looks like a frozen slushy or something.
Iced coffee in a mason jar. So
Okay.
I make a pot of coffee and I'll have a couple of cups of hot coffee. And then I don't want to waste the coffee because it's still good coffee. So I'll just pour it into a mason jar, stick it in the refrigerator. And then later in the day, I'll get it out when it's nice and cold, pour my creamer in it and drink away. And it's not loaded. It's unleaded. It's just
little Bailey's in there to Irish it up.
Nope.
Real simple there. What a quick answer.
I'll tell you what I've been enjoying coffee-wise is some of the Ogopa coffee that we found out at the SHOT. If y'all want to get a hold of Tyler and Lindsay Hickey, they're usually at most of our ASAs. It is a fantastic coffee. I've been making cold brew with it. And if you can't see my hand shaking, it's just about nuclear strength.
Yes.
I think my cold brew instructions said to let it go for 1 to 2 days. I think I let it go 3 to 4 usually. And had court out in Greer County this morning. And by the time I got back, I was like, I think I had too much coffee. It was really smooth, deliciously sweet. Didn't put enough ice in the iced coffee. It was mostly just cold coffee. And the longer you leave it on those coffee beans, the more caffeine it pulls out of it. And three days is the magic number. 4 days is yes. Yeah. So
a little too much. Yeah. We have probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 packs of that stuff. The wife's been ordering it up like crazy.
See, I'm just a black coffee drinker. Couple cups in the morning, I'm good. That's just coffee,
Well, it helps when you wake up at 4:30 a.m. every day, Dave.
I told you I was old, okay?
Some of us like to sleep. Some of us still get a little bit of sleep at night. Not much with the way the phone rings. But
but I go to bed at 10 o'clock too.
Yeah, give or take. 10 o'clock last night, we were watching Tyler Childers down at the BOK Center. All you country music fans out there, that was probably the best performance I've ever seen in my life. So, and that's this weekend, everybody in the whole state's either going to the Total Archery Challenge at one end, or they're going to Stillwater for the Cross Canadian Ragweed Reunion Tour Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. So I have tickets on Saturday night. I will be at Tulsa Archery on Sunday. No excuses for anybody else. I expect y'all to be there. Couple of other events to make everybody aware of are Center Shot State Championship. That is the they're not just Oklahoma based, but it's the Oklahoma State Championship. It's for kids that shoot Genesis. It's Center Shot Ministries. They're a Christian based organization. They work with a lot of churches. Their state championship is in McLeod Friday and Saturday. Y'all get a hold of Casey Bruce. He's one of my Facebook friends. Super nice guy. I'm going to be there Saturday in the morning doing a little live stream for him because it's indoor and we got internet service. So that's for the kids that shoot Genesis. It's indoor 3D. Reinhardt targets center 12, I believe. Super cool. Y'all will get a chance to see some of that action Saturday, so be sure and tune in. We're going to have some familiar faces on the podcast, hopefully get some new guests, some old friends and new. And then also Saturday, so center shots Friday and Saturday. Tax all weekend. Shout out to our good buddy Rob Chilinsky, however it's said.
Yeah, you never know nowadays.
Yep, still holds the record for biggest archery turnout in Oklahoma. I'm sitting at number 2 still, so never. He's got 4,000 people on a mountain in Broken Bow right coming into town. But Saturday, the Oklahoma City Gun Club is the S3DA state championship. If you have any questions, you don't have to qualify for it. It's for, I think, kids that are between 6 to 8 years old, I think is about the youngest. And you have to be a senior in high school or younger. So you can compete in S3DA up to your senior year of high school. Your registration should close on the 10th, but if you contact Andrea Waldridge, she's been on the podcast, I think 2 times now, with any questions, that's going to be at the Oklahoma City Gun Club. That's another event for kids. So give her a shot, give S3DA a shot. If anybody is wanting to go to nationals at the very end of July, it's a week after Oklahoma's ASA state championship, a week before Coleman's ASA, the classic. So it fits in. If you want to go from Oklahoma to Montana to Alabama, you do have to shoot a state championship to qualify for that. So we'll tag Andrea in the comments. We'll tag Casey Bruce in the comments. Y'all be aware of these events. You got them for adults. You got them for kids. You have fun shoots. You have competitions. You have everything going on this weekend in archery in the state of Oklahoma. So a lot of opportunities to take a bow out, a lot of opportunities to get a kid shooting archery. I know that's something that we try to promote every chance we get. I hope y'all don't get sick of hearing it because I don't plan on stopping telling you about it. So keep on keeping on. Come out to these events. There's enough days in the weekend to go around. I know we're all here too old to compete in S3DA, so I know Dave's ready to go shoot ASA at Tulsa Archery Association this weekend in the men's super senior known 30 class.
My question was to Bobby was, this range isn't exactly left at the light and first drive. How is the best way for new shooters to get directions to TAA?
So on I can share it on the Oklahoma Archery podcast or on the Oklahoma State ASA page. We do have a picture of the directions how to get there. But it's if you come off of 75, I think it's 86th straight up, and you kind of zigzag your way in there. I just know the path. I don't know the addressing, but
yeah, all the way through Sperry. Yeah.
Google Maps is probably your best bet.
I've got the address here if you want it. It's 3204 West 88th Street North, Sperry, Oklahoma 74073.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Like 5-10 years ago, it didn't work, and it has been fixed. There is also an address and a pin on asaoklahoma.com. If you click the schedule and click that weekend's qualifier, it will auto generate to your Google Maps or Apple Maps, whichever you use. So it is back there. It's in the boonies. It's in the sticks.
Closer to Lake Skytook than anything. So,
yep.
Well, that's the reason I didn't want someone pulling in and going, oh my gosh, I'm turned around twice thinking, oh, I've got 30 minutes before the shotgun start. Oh, where am I even going? So go look it up, do your homework, and you'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, there's a big symbol like this guy right outside. You go up the hill, you can't miss it. He's right there. Just make the left and into the gate you go. So one of the things up there too is you're almost out of the wind. So when you're in the canyon, it's kind of in a draw area. You're sheltered from the wind. So if the wind's blowing too hard, people like it in there because there's no wind affecting you.
Yeah.
Bobby has personally removed every tick and copperhead snake off that mountain. It was a lot of work. So y'all come out, be appreciative of the effort going in on his part. I know it's not an easy range to set. I'll tell you that much. The uphill and downhill, you think it's hard carrying your bow and your stool up. Try carrying 20 targets up and driving stakes through 100% rock. I mean,
it's about
every time you try to drive a stake, well, there's a rock, found another rock. You can either go down through the rock or you can move the stake and hope the target set works for that angle, distance, lane. But it is one of the best ones. Bobby, what's been your favorite Tulsa Archery Association memory so far? I know you've been out there 5 or 7 years now.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was the very first ASA there shooting. I think I was shooting with you, and I pulled up on that Wolverine, and I shot. I ranged it. I don't know what exactly I ranged, but it was at 37 yards, and I shot right over the top of it, right into the middle of a tree. That's probably my favorite one. Yeah, just thunk. And then, and I think the very next target, I think I broke Neil's knock. And then ever since then, when we're shooting together, we're aiming for each other's knocks. Period.
Yeah, once you shoot a couple of nickels and you realize your score is out the window, it's kind of just gun for each other's arrows and see who can cause the most destruction of good carbon. It's a fun game to play. If anybody wonders why I shoot all black arrows now, it's because Bobby, I can't afford it, y'all. I can't afford it. Speaking of shooting trees, I know you just got back from the Louisiana SHOT 3D experience, but we've got another one coming up in 2 weeks that's going to be in Kansas. You want to take just a couple minutes now to tell everybody what the SHOT schedule has been like so far and what they can look forward to at the Kansas venue?
Yeah, so it's been busy. So we talk about carrying targets, and after setting up a couple of shots, Tulsa's a piece of cake. When you're setting up that many ranges,
you like 20 better than 120, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's gonna be up in Flint Oak Lodge. There's some stuff is coming down the pipe. From talking to Jeremy and Brian that they're working on. They're gonna change up some of the stuff at the Flint Oak Lodge for this year. Some of the epic shots, as we like to call them. Some new challenges that they're setting up. But yeah, so it's April. I'll have to look. I always have to look at the schedule. I should have had it pulled up here. April 20.
Last weekend of April.
Yeah. We're it's about a 2-hour drive from here. It's at a premier hunting lodge area, and really nice guys. Most of the venues that we've had, even Lake Eufaula, we had to follow some guidelines for the state, but Muddy Bottoms and Flint Oaks, the hunting lodge there, they've kind of let us have some free reign, so we're able to get in and do a lot of different shots and different setups. The Muddy Bottoms one was even though we didn't have a whole lot of elevation change, we did, but we didn't. The forest that we had to work in was pretty awesome. We had a lot of hidden shots, a lot of dark targets. It's really good because a lot of the guys, we have Wild Creek Targets as a title sponsor, and a lot of these guys have never seen what a kudu looks like or a zebra looks like, and we have these full-size targets. And so we've heard a lot of guys say, hey, I'm going on an African hunt and I've never seen this animal. Hey, now we know what to aim at. We know what we're actually seeing in real life, because these targets are all brought over from Africa, all hand painted, and the hairs are all drawn on them. They are extremely realistic and anatomically correct. We're just going to leave it at that.
Yes,
in all
they
aspects.
go to they put all the giblets on the targets. You can see them down to this guy's painted the individual hairs on both giblets on these targets. So they're all male targets. I can't figure that out. Most of them, at least. And shout out to Steve Webb. I know he's getting ready to go on a big African safari with his bow and arrow. So I know he's one of them that's benefiting from seeing those targets out there. And summertime is when a lot of people go across to the dark continent. So if that's something that's on your bucket list, you can come to SHOT. I know, just similar to the R100, where they have 50 North American targets and 50 African targets. It does help the hunters out being able to see what some of these life-size animals look like. I remember shooting an R100 and having to climb a ladder to pull my arrows out of a giraffe. That was kind of a surreal experience to see at an archery tournament. So SHOT's got a lot of big things coming. They will have 5 different courses, one of them being an ASA qualifier. will have all Delta McKenzie's, brand new Delta McKenzie's, great looking rings on them. So I know Wild Creek's a sponsor, and those targets do look fantastically lifelike. For your ASA guys, if you're not going to Camp Minden's Pro-Am, there is I know they set 40 of them. There's a short side and a long side. So you will have your typical Delta McKenzie 20 target ASA qualifier at that event as well. Bi or tri-state? Bi-state qualifier?
By state, yeah. And I couldn't get a hold of the Missouri State Director to kind of talk to him, but maybe next year we can, work something out or whatnot. But yeah, I just couldn't get a hold of him. It's an 8 a.m. shotgun start for that. And we can pre-register for SHOT online and save some money, or you can register for just ASA or SHOT and ASA. There's been some confusion with that on the pre-registration. The pre-registration for the ASA portion really helps us set up. Are we going to set up 2 ranges? Or we're going to have to set up 1 range. So if we can get the ASA shooters in there to pre-register, at least that we know that they're going to be there. It really helps out on who's going to show up. I mean, was it Eufaula? We had almost 80 or 75 shooters, something like that, show up at the Eufaula shoot. And then the Kansas guys really showed up in force, those North Cato guys. I think we had 47 ASA shooters show up, or 57 shooters show up for the ASA down there, which is pretty good, considering, it was out of our territory. We didn't know, and they all showed up there, and then they all went and shot the Shot 3D experience, and moms, kids. There was several kids that toted their target rigs, trouncing through the woods. There's one guy I can't remember his name. I won the Shot 3 medal. He toted his entire target rig through the 3.5 mile Tybo course. Like 16 years old. I mean, I was like, okay, have at it.
I'm having flashbacks to when we did the same thing at TAC, and I took my pink Hoyt Stratos 36 with an 8X lens and long stabilizers up and down the mountain. And I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I'm not saying I didn't have fun. But if you go look at the pictures of me afterwards, I have a look of death upon my face, where you really don't need for a trail style shoot like that, 24 ounces of stabilizer weight on the back and 17 on the front. It makes for a little bit longer course than your hunting guys are going to experience with no stabilizers on their bow, just a quiver and 40 arrows in their backpack. So don't be like me. Don't do it. I know you want to shoot your target bow. I know you went and bought a Hoyt Stratos just for the TAC event, and that was a rough one. That's when I had I had the spiral cams on that one.
You saw the spiral cams on them.
Yep.
And and those steep angles up and down, then the spiral cams don't mix very well at all.
No.
Rough.
No, that is an ex-girlfriend I don't miss at all. That one I got off the mountain. I had that thing broken down and sold before I got back from Broken Bow. So bought it for that event, got done, survived the event, had that bow gone quick, fast, and in a hurry. Yeah, buddy. Not a fan.
I was gonna say the shot events, most people don't realize it's also a chance for you to test your equipment out. Put on your hunting gear, your hunting equipment, and trounce through the woods and see what it's like. You may have this base layer on, it may be cold. These base layers great, and 100 yards in, you want to peel it all off because I can't do this. This is way too hot to be out here. Or your binos. I got these really nice set of binos, and you get in the woods and you're like, I can't see nothing. What's the point in this thing? So, and you're same thing with your equipment. Going through there trying to push it to its limits and see what it can do after you hike down. What's it like to draw your bow back after you've been walking for this many, a quarter mile or something like that, and you're pulling up on a target. Test your limits.
Definitely makes you think about your heart rate, physicality aspect to this game, and it's a lot less nerves when it's a rubber elk rather than a real live one that's moving and bugling through the mountains. There's been a lot of good arrows meet the end of their lifespan on the TAC course, on the shot course. So, Bobby, we're 35 minutes into this podcast, and we have not asked you Dave's favorite question. Tell us what you shoot.
A bow and arrow.
There you
Put
go.
that as promo space.
You're the little guy on the hat, aren't you? That's you, Bobby.
Less close. So was a Hoyt, or still am. I've got a Hoyt RX-7 Ultra, and most recently, I've got a Darton Sequel 33 ST2. Whoever I'm going to put this out there, and whoever the anonymous donator is, thank you very much. Whoever's going to hear this, but we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I've got a Sequel 33 that I've been playing with, ST2, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm a really hard puller into the wall guy, and it seems like this bow, the harder I pull, the more it parks. Um, if somebody's looking for a good starter platform for a bow, whether it's a 31, 33, or the 35, I think Darton really nailed it on its head. It's just it holds very well. I'm going to say this, and I hate comparing, but it holds like a Matthews without the top heavy. It's pretty balanced right out of the box, um, uh, and the draw cycle for both the speed mods and the regular mods are really, really well thought out, well put together. So you really don't have a dump and a hump on them. So uh, I'm really digging it. The Compared to my Hoyt. I mean, I do love my Hoyt. I shoot it very, very well, but I don't have left and rights with this bow at all. I mean, if I break the shot clean, it goes right there. It's actually more forgiving than what I think it should be. Oh, that one's left. How in the heck did that one just hit where I was aiming? It just naturally wants to seem to point into the middle.
What about the rest of your bow?
So let's see, on the bow. I got a sitting right here with me. I'm shooting an Elvish Tac light. I've got a Achieve XP sight bar with a 31 millimeter AVX scope housing. I've got a Ranger 2-pin. Sorry?
2-pin?
Yeah, two pin Ranger 2-pin, 10 thousandths. And then I got the Gillingham scope or ring that goes around it, where your sight housing is. I got that one just because it's better than a white.
White, so you can
No, it's
pull.
actually green, so
Yeah.
so it's actually the green one.
Very nice.
So,
and what class do you shoot?
I'm a Hunter 45 guy. I'm a short bar guy. Have been for forever. I tried for about 6 months shooting a long stabilizer, and I ripped them off and went right back to a short bar. I don't like it. Even no lens. I've always been the short bar guy. My son's,
for everybody out there, Bobby was the last ASA Oklahoma State Championship in the Pins 45 division before it transitioned, the division, not Bobby, to Hunter 45. Hunter 45. So we used to have Pins 30, Pins 40, and Pins 45. And we had this great group of guys that wanted to shoot a hunting bow year round with a slider sight and short bars, but didn't have a class to shoot in. And you kind of got absorbed into that class. So it's Bobby and a whole bunch of new to ASA shooters that can shoot the short stabilizers, 12 inches or under, but still have a slider sight, no magnification, so less shake. And tell everybody about, let's see, that's your bow, your sight, your stabilizers. What about release and arrows?
I've got 2 arrows that I shoot. So when I shoot the 145 class, I try to stay true to Ashley Hunter. So I shoot skinny arrows. I've got some. I've been playing around with these Black Eagle Rampages. I really like it. 3-fletched with tack veins. I know, Neil, you're cringing right now at the tack veins. I can get them to stick. 418 grains total weight. So I'm for the light arrow guys, and then for my indoor type setup, and I kind of play around with it. I've got these Super Drive 25s. They're like my go-tos. If I can't get a bow to tune, what's that?
23s.
No, 23. These are the 23s. I apologize.
I saw the orange and I was like, that's got to be, because I know the 25s are green.
Yeah, 23s. I apologize. Yeah. So these have been my staple. I can kind of shoot these if I'm having trouble tuning a bow, go right back to these and I'll shoot it. So um, this year with this, I was going to do it with my Hoyt, but with the Darton, I'm going to kind of play around with it. But I did buy the pick mount for this from Conquest. They make a pick mount, a universal pick mount that fits on all the bows. And so I have got another housing, my landslide housing. So what I think I'm going to do is I can pull off my XP, put on another housing, and I might run my 23s, my Super Drive 23s on there. So I just basically two different sites. So for the guys that are, the hunter guys that are wanting to get into the target world or wanting to shoot fat arrows, whatnot, there are options where you don't have to buy an entire bow.
You're running one bow for your line busters and your long distance skinny arrows.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. I very rarely find that I need to move the rest. Trying to get it tuned, I get it tuned in for both arrows, and they shoot just fine. I don't have any problem with it. I've got a Hamsky Epsilon rest, as you were since you're asking about that, and then my release is a Stan Onyx no clicker as a 2-finger. So I found a guy selling a 2-finger attachments for it, and I really like the 2-finger attachment for it. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. One thing that I noticed about the Darton too is so I've got an RX-7 Ultra, and I've got a short draw length. I'm a T-Rex guy. 27.5 inches is my draw length, and the fine tuning of the adjustments on this thing are pretty amazing. The fact that you can get it tweaked in that way, but I got speed back. I'm not a speed freak by any means, but with 27.5 inch draw and a 418 grain arrow, I'm punching it at 290 roughly on this with 27.5 inch draw. So I'm getting the speed and the kinetic energy back out of it. It's a very, very efficient bow. I said I can't complain that it takes a little bit of use to get used to the grip. I ended up putting some grip tape on there, but thanks for the turn on of George Gizmo, Neil. I've got a grip coming from George's Gizmos right now, and hopefully it'll be here in a couple 3 days.
Shout out to Adam George up there in Idaho. He's got that 3D print. That thing has to have melted down by now. He's pumping out more gizmos, no pun intended, and gadgets, trying to get him to print me a 3D umbrella holder for the stool. He goes, yeah, I could do it. I'd like to test it, but nobody shoots with stools up here. They're more of a field trail style indoor shooters, not so much the ASA style 3D. So shout out to Adam George. I've put him on all kinds of crazy projects. I think Dave had a pretty good one I told him about the other day.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
said he'd heard that idea before as a way to get some color on the bow, but he'd never thought about putting additional weight on it. So we're just a lot of people out there finding new ways to think about common problems we all solve. Archery is like one big Rubik's cube. You're always trying to find a different way to, kind of get some weight here, take this out, take the grip torque up, take the grip up, take it down. Even something as simple. My favorite thing is that I've got from him is the little cover holes for on your Darton. You got that limb peg that tunes on the top. Put a plug in the other side of it so it doesn't get full of dust and dirt and everything like that. So you're not grinding that thread if you ever have to switch it to the other side. Just little stuff like that that's handy. That's just makes good stocking stuffers for yourself. I do most of my Christmas shopping for myself, and I'm pretty good at buying for me. Anybody else out there?
Yeah, I ended up sticking a couple little plastic pieces in there just to keep the dust and grit out of those holes until I could get them coming in. So that grip and those plugs are coming in hopefully in the next 3 or 4 days.
I didn't get a lot of dust in any of the holes on mine and everything. Oh, but see, mine's just indoors.
I say Dave shoots a white bow all the time just so you can't see the little chunks of target on it all the time. Mine's looking, some of it's dust and some of it's those indoor foam targets where you shoot your arrows through it over and over again, and it just covers that shootout riser part right there. just looks like a crack fiend's been after my bow. But we're getting ready to put a blade on it. So everybody break out your Tenactin foot spray. Why? I don't know. Just because
Well, don't do it.
my buddy Bryce told me I got to do it, and Dave said I got to do it.
I love Blade. I love it.
Ryan Thomason's trying one out.
What I told him, he was talking about putting a backer space on. I said, why? So that's going to be my only question is we'll have to get him up to the city and everything, and then I'll retune his blade for him.
I've never shot a blade in my life. There you go. The old bow doodle 2-finger right here that just sat. That wasn't really a blade. It was just more of a cradle. I don't even know if it was.
And it would bounce down.
Yes, it would. It would bounce down, but it didn't have an actual drop away. A lot of people out there are using just a regular ham ski and taking the cord off and setting it up here like a blade because you can change the pitch any way you need to. I'm going to be shooting the old X4s, probably order a couple of Spot Hog edge swaps so I can run one of my Exodus for 27s and field because I'm going to try to stick to one bow. But I've got more than one bow. It's just never going to happen. Forget that. I'm lying.
Yeah. The blades are, there's a lot of guys that run them, a lot of guys that don't. For indoor, to me, standing still, it makes sense. You could definitely run it because it's, it's a more static. I really think there's more torque that gets influenced on there. If you're not a good shot, if you have a good clean break, you definitely torque it and influence your arrow. But for outdoors, the uphills, the downhills, when you're aiming a little bit down, there's more weight being pushed down on that blade. As up, you're lifting up a little bit of weight on there. So, tomato, gonna give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I think that bow's faster than me. Bobby, you were talking about speed. I think you forgot to say that you're a 70-pound shooter all the time. Yeah. What was your speed comparison when you were shooting the RX-7 to when you switched to the Sequel 33? Just for everybody.
The RX-7 was a 260 with the same arrow. I'm at 290 with the Sequel.
That's huge.
That's the Darton difference, baby.
Same arrow. I could not believe the difference in it at all. And like I said, the what's still getting to me is the hold and the repeatability. It's very, very much when the harder I pull, the more it parks. And I can't explain it. And Neil see me draw bows and pull them back. I pull so hard at the pegs, you can actually start seeing the cable wanting to go around it. It's almost a hindrance for me by doing that. But it's just something that I have to have that solid back wall, and I pull into it, and then that pin just stops moving.
So Dave's bent plenty of those draw stops, so I know he sympathizes with you on the old PSE model, but he hasn't had that problem with the Title 40. We're hoping.
None that I can see so far.
Yeah, the old PSEs I used to have to buy, the old Bomar stops, the big flat ones.
Those.
Because I would definitely cause some issues there.
Yeah, that thin wall between the screw and that outer. I mean, it was just like it would just bend on me every time. Yeah,
and it never fails that it would do that, and you would change it out, and but yeah, it's an incredible platform. I would say if anybody is beginning in archery or wanting to look at getting a what you'd call a flagship bow. I really would recommend the Darton as a solid beginner platform. And honestly, any of them, whether it's the Consequence or all the way up to the Exodus, if you want to stick with it, that Consequence is a heck of a shooter. That little, for what you pay for it, it's got the same geometries built into it.
Dave's nodding off on us.
Man.
Got to get the nap in before Wheel of Fortune starts at 4.
Oh man, look at him! I may have to just stay home tonight and shoot.
Yeah, we're gonna drag Dave out. Hope he beats traffic here. Shooting the jackpot. Yeah, we're going to shoot a little Vegas jackpot, H&H. Hopefully, we're going to try to play with the days because Trosper is starting their field league tonight. And as soon as I get some skinny arrows set up, I'm going to be out there flinging them at 80 yards. I think it's April 8th till like March 23rd or something like that. It's $30 for Trosper members, $35 for non-members, and they do it every Tuesday. So I guess if you're a member, you can probably go out there and shoot too at the same time. So y'all come out, Trosper. We're going to be at H&H tonight just because I think it's a little windy down here. Still about 60-something degrees right now. So I don't know if we're fully on at outdoor weather, but I like to beat the mosquitoes and the ticks every chance I get to shoot outdoors. Just don't have the skinny arrow bow set up yet, but plan on doing some of that soon. I know it's right around the corner. We got a lot of skinny arrow stuff planned in the next couple of years. So Bobby's had a great plan to shoot his line busters and his skinny arrows out of the same bow. If he can figure it out, you guys can too. Swap a rest, swap a sight, shoot the same draw length, the same peep height, the same holding weight, the same draw weight, everything like that. I know Broadwater used to do it with his big arrows, and he would carry an X10 and he'd flip his sight over and have a big arrows sight tape on one side, skinny arrows on the other. So he's a little better at tuning a bow than the rest of us normal folks. So that's always a consideration. Do you know this weekend, the biggest news is Frank Welch going to be cooking barbecue?
Nope, he is not. Last I understood, the biggest issue is the turnout. Trying to get everybody, knowing how many people are going to be there to show up and whatnot. With Frank Welch, I wish he would. I mean, who doesn't love good old Frankie and his jean suspenders, shorts, and
cut off overalls, smoked cream cheese, and allegedly pork. We're not sure.
I tell you what I've had up there in the winter times and everything is always tasty is your chili pies and your all that. And
that's Dale's. That's Dale's chili. Dear chili. That's right. Yeah.
I'm the one that shot that deer, and I can personally guarantee he died of shame. Said, what smells like Irish Spring? Ow, something bit me in the armpit. Everything's getting fuzzy. I better lay down. Boom. Next thing he knows, he's in the crock pot.
Now, speaking of deers, have you seen some of the anyone on the camera around the streets? Or the nubs are coming in on the heads. They're starting to come in.
No, I am not letting myself get caught up in looking at deer yet because we are about 8 days away from the opening of turkey season. So we get a month of chasing those godforsaken thunder chickens across the plains of Oklahoma. I saw 2 strutters today just south of Carter, Oklahoma. If nobody else knows where Carter, Oklahoma is, that's okay. Way out west and south, middle of nowhere. But saw 2 of them standing there in the field. One of them puffed up, and sure enough, both of them was hanging. So turkey season is upon us. Y'all get your 1 bird killed so you can come out to the ASA. Plan on bringing some cash this weekend. We are going to be doing the team shoot after the qualifier. That's been a lot of fun. Might have 4 or 5 targets out there. That's been a lot of fun letting them pick their partners and buy back in with the mulligans. So for everybody that hasn't done that, you have 1 team on each stake. 14s are in play. You do not have to call uppers, lowers, or 14s. It's just you and your partner on 1 target. You shoot 4 or 5 of those. High score Saturday gets paid out. High score Sunday gets paid out. And it's structured just like ASA. So 1 to 5 teams pays 1 place. 6 to 10 pays 2 places, and 11 plus pays 3 places. So you don't have to have the absolute highest score, but stick around for that. We also had an interesting idea for somebody called me driving down the road the other day. He goes, I got a way you can raise some money. I said, well, that's all I need. It's another way to nickel and dime them to death. So we've got a new idea for the ASA, and this is to fund our buckles because we haven't seen a ton of people want to shoot the Genesis this year. I think that was a fun thing last year. Haven't raised a ton of money with it yet, so I've got another idea, and I want to take just a second to explain it. It's going to be called Blind Bingo. It's a $2 buy-in every week. And what it is I'm going to have a sheet of paper for every qualifier that has 5 items on it. I'm going to draw one Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for the qualifier that we just had. And for example, if you shot, and I'm going to put some money in the pot, and it's a 50% payback, probably going to put $100 in there. You buy in for $2 every single week, and we're hoping that everybody wants to participate in this. But this is a way to get some people that don't win money a chance to win some money back. I'm going to pay you to shoot your bow. And the way it works is you buy in for $2, and on this sheet of paper, I'm not going to tell you what the numbers are until we draw them, but it's going to have something. For example, if you shot an 8 on target number 8, you can be a winner. We'll draw that one, say Monday. Or if you shot a 5 on target number 16, you could be a winner. Or if you had a miss on target 12, or if you shot 3 12s in a row, that's a good one. Or if you had a total score of 197, they're going to change every week. If nobody wins, the pot keeps growing to next week. So just like when you play bingo, it's first to claim and wins. Like you could bingo at the same time Bobby bingos, but if he says bingo first, Bobby gets the money. So we're going to draw those because there's five items each week. They'll change. And if nobody claims it, the pot goes on to the next weekend. So I'm going to pay you $100, and we're going to have $2 from everybody that wants to be in it. And it doesn't matter what class you shoot. You know, it could be trad, it could be K50, it could be semi-pro. Everybody's in. We're just going to have it right at the registration table. And basically, I'm going to cut these sheets up every week and draw them out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You get 5 chances to win. You will have to keep track of it on your unofficial scorecards. I will use the official scorecards from that week's qualifier to verify. It's like, okay, somebody so-and-so claims it. Oh, they did have, 1, 2, 3 12s in a row. Okay, you're the winner. We'll start it all over the next week. So it's a chance for everybody that doesn't necessarily take home first place or second place every week to get into the money. And if you're splitting a $100 bill plus $2 a head, you might win $80, $90 for coming in last place. And I think that's something that, it's not necessarily skill-based, but it is something that can make it fun for people. So be on the lookout for that blind bingo $2 buy-in at the registration table and all the rest of the qualifiers. We'll clip this video and have it, we'll post it on the ASA group if anybody has questions or something like that. And it'll change every week. It might be shooting a 12 on target 12 this week, and next weekend it'll be shooting a 12 on target 1. Or, shooting back-to-back nickels. I know that one might be personally. Well, I was going to say I feel attacked by that one, but a
good thought for that is if they shoot for score on say Saturday, they can shoot up for fun on Sunday. They're in the bingo. Now they can shoot for fun, trying to line up the bingo.
That is, yep. If you come shoot a fun round, it does count for the fun round if you buy back in. So you're only getting paid if you buy into it. But if you put $4 in instead of $2, just like when you play bingo, you've got 10 cards stacked up all here together. It encourages to shoot more rounds. It encourages them to check on the Facebook page for all the news and announcements and everything like that. So we'll have the Genesis up there, hopefully Sunday. We'll have the shoot down both Saturday and Sunday, and we'll have a little tub there that'll say blind bingo on it. You can put your $2, and all I need is to write their names for who's in. And I think it's going to be fun. Clyde Thompson came up with that idea. He said, I think people buy into that. It's just $2, and it gives you a chance. If you're not the top dog in your class, you can still take home a pocket full of money, and it's your ASA. It's everybody's ASA. I want to put back into it, and I want to try to do some fundraising for our buckles, because if we keep growing like this, it's going to be a whole bunch of money come July, and it's getting here before we know it. So that's my latest fundraising endeavor.
Yeah, we got a bunch of out of state shooters with these by state shooters coming in. So,
will Tulsa be a bi-state? I think it's within 150 miles of Kansas, right?
I think so. I don't know what they set it up as for this round, but I think we're within the Kansas if they want to do it. So, shout
out to Brad Bollinger in Kansas. Speaking of Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. Yeah. Real quick, let's go over the AMAM in May. I've had a bunch of questions, mostly from Trenton Cooper, my buddy out of Kansas, on that. First weekend of May, Oklahoma is having their first ever ASA AMAM. It is kind of like the Texas AMAM. It's not the same as the Texas AMAM. Okay. So Bobby's helps the SHOT guys. It's going to be at 2 ranges. They're both near Claremore, Oklahoma, Odd Vein Out in Chelsea, and Big Creek 3D in Nowata. Yep. They're about 10, 15 minutes apart from each other. We're going to do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a 3-day event, but you can shoot it all in one day. It'll be Saturday. So I think 1 o'clock start time Friday, 9 and 1 Saturday, and 9 a.m. Sunday, followed by a state versus state team shoot, just like Texas. So we're going to have Oklahoma versus Kansas versus Missouri versus Arkansas. That'll be like your Red River shootout, because we've had some other states that want to be involved in that. So we're going to call it the Four Corners shootout. Basically, it is a little bit different than Paris, and I want to take just a quick second to explain some of the differences. Both of these qualifiers are independent, so you can shoot one at Nowata and one at Chelsea and get paid out just like a regular qualifier. They're both quad state qualifiers for the states we listed above. What's different about it is the guys at Shot 3D Experience, Jeremy and Brian and Tim, are going to put $1,000 in for the winners of each class's combined scores. You have to shoot both ranges, and the winner of every class gets put into a drawing for $1,000. So it does not have buckles like the Texas shoot, but it does have cash money. So you pay $60, you shoot 2 good scores, you have a 1 in 44 chance, because there's only 44 classes in the ASA, to win $1,000 bill.
Only 44 classes.
Only 44. And there's no one that's coming in Olympic recurve. Okay. There's no one that's coming in something, whatever. So there's going to be probably 35 people entered into that, 30 to 35 people that'll shoot one winner from every class over both scores combined. So your score ought to be 420 to 440. Shoot 20 up at each range. We're going to draw out of those people for $1,000. You can come Friday at 1. You can come Saturday, and that was the biggest advice I got from a good buddy, Steve Wingo. Wanted to be able to shoot both rounds in one day. So you come hit Nowata at 9 a.m., turn around and hit Odd Vein Out at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and you can get home. You don't have to stay for the team shoot. That's the biggest difference in the Paris AMAM, is you can't shoot it in one day. You have to get a hotel. So we're going to tag the other state directors below. Our team shoot will be just like Paris. We'll use representatives from the same classes. Oklahoma will be our leaders for Shooter of the Year. Up to that point, we'll have first dibs at that honor. And we're still working on the prizes for the team shootout. Mostly it's bragging rights, but I'm going to try to come up with something good for those states, that whichever state does win the team shoot, we're going to try to reward them with something a little bit better than bragging rights. Haven't got all the details on that yet, but I want everybody to mark their calendars. This will be a great warm-up for the Paris AMAM, which is a buckle shoot. Pre-registration for that one is open. I've posted that link, and you can get it on Texas's ASA as well. But for all the other states that don't get to go to the Red River Shootout and compete, we wanted to do something like that in Oklahoma, and we have 2 ranges that are about 15 miles apart from each other. So we'll let you know which one we're going to be hanging out at. We probably will have a practice range up. There won't be a GPO range. There won't be a Thursday team shoot. So those are the differences in Paris and Oklahoma's AMAM, but it's the first weekend of May, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Awards will be afterwards, after the team shoot, and then we'll have our drawing. So I want to encourage everybody to come out Saturday, Sunday. If you can't make it, we're going to try to do a Friday option. But it's just 2 regular $30 qualifiers, $60 and you're done. Does not cost to shoot the team shoot. The only thing you're paying in is the individual qualifiers, which I think it's $60 or $65 to shoot the AMAM. So, kind of like the AMAM in Paris, kind of not like. It's not as big, it's not as fancy. It's the first year we've done it, and we don't have a venue quite big enough to do that. So if anybody has any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to walk you through it. If you have suggestions, or hey, I think we ought to do this, I think we ought to do that, let us know. 100% want to hear from you guys.
Dave's going to be there, right, for both days?
Oh yeah, someone's got to cook the barbecue.
Hey, now we're talking.
I mentioned chili. Does that count?
In May, chili is a October to February kind of thing here. We want barbecue, damn it.
And some bologna and sausage sandwiches.
I'm telling you.
We'll get a hold of Donnie up there at Sperry.
Yeah, Donnie
Yeah, it's some
Till.
good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
If you don't get there early, you're not going to get nothing. But yeah, that's some good
Yeah.
stuff.
That or another great friend of mine that cooks well, and that's Max over there. They're in your hometown. Sky Cook.
Oh, Max Barbecue. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me some campfire potatoes with some brisket on top of it. I'm done. I'm out.
Money. That's right.
Skytook, Oklahoma. Well, Bobby, before we get off of here, tell everybody about any sponsors you have and tell them your social media handles. I know you're always reaching out to people on the different interweb Facebook archery groups. Tell them how to get a hold of you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook at RT Johnson. I'll be on, you try to find me out there. I'm always posting on several pages throughout, trying to spread the archery love to everybody. On Instagram, I'm a play on Star Wars. I'm Knight.Jedi, so you can try to find me there as well. So as far as sponsors, really, I don't have any sponsors. I'm just a guy out shooting. If I had to call a sponsor, old Triple C always takes care of me one way or the other. So he's my go-to sponsor guy. Shot 3D Experience, they kind of sponsor me. I help them out for all their shoots. I run around doing that for them. So other than that, I'm just just an average everyday shooter. I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. Thank you.
We appreciate everything you do for archery. I hope you know it does not go unnoticed. You've really turned Tulsa archery around. I know they're kind of a little bit of the geriatrics club that doesn't want to do anything new or fun or different, and it does not go unnoticed when you're out there pushing the envelope. So we appreciate that very, very much.
I'm doing my best to gently prod.
Yeah, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Don't ever let them up till they say yes.
That's right.
Yes. All right, guys.
Bobby, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You bet. Bye, guys.